Hello everyone, welcome to my channel USA 90 Day Fiancé. Welcome to update new gossip. Georgi Rusev has been keeping a secret from Darcey Silva, but she and her sister did not take kindly to that as their trip to Bulgaria came to a rocky conclusion. On the September 28 episode of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, Georgi revealed that he was planning on purchasing property near his family in Bulgaria, unbeknownst to his wife Darcey. The big announcement was made in Darcey and Georgi's hotel room as they were packing up to return home from their multi-week excursion to Georgi's home country. But neither Darcey nor her twin sister Stacey Silva were happy to hear this news. "You should help save money so you guys can buy your own home in America or a condo in Miami or something," Stacey argued. "Don't you want that and the American dream? What's the priority?" Darcey agreed, but Georgi seemed flustered, shaking his head in frustration as Stacey accused him of being selfish. Then she accused him of hiding something. "I'm not stupid," Stacey said in a joint confessional with Florian Sukic, and expressed concern about Georgi's decision to not consult Darcey about this decision. "He never really treats her like a wife. If you want to buy a property and maybe do it together." Georgi was sad to leave Bulgaria and all of his family, whom he just reconnected with for the first time in 13 years. "It's never easy to say goodbye," he told Darcey before the argument. Later on, Georgi told Stacey that the trip home left him feeling recharged. Stacey seemed pleased with his response. "I'm just happy you guys are leaving happy," she exclaimed. "It's good to see because the Darcey and Georgi in Miami was not so happy, right?" However, Georgi suggested this would not be his last trip back to Bulgaria. In fact, he revealed he hoped to return to his home country again very soon in order to take care of some stuff. When Stacey pressed him for answers, he announced his plans to seek out the property. Darcey told the group that this was the first time she had ever heard of these plans, and agreed with Stacey's suggestion that Georgi was acting selfish. Georgi insisted he wasn't planning on purchasing a property in the immediate future, but Darcey was still concerned. "I don't even know how much money you have saved," she shouted. "How much money are you putting toward this? You still have to pay taxes too." Stacey then resumed her own efforts to get Georgi to spill the beans about his finances. "Why are you hiding money?" she asked after pointing out that everyone in the room knew he had recently been promoted at work. In a confessional, Georgi expressed concern that Stacey had become too involved in his relationship. "She's just putting these little bugs in Darcey's head," he explained, noting that the twins often team up against me, which he said can be hard to deal with that. Georgi defended his decision not to tell Darcey about his plans. "I didn't bring my plans up sooner because Darcey's always shooting it out and she don't even listen to me," he explained. In a confessional, Georgi suggested that these reactions are why he had a really hard time opening up to his wife about some of the more complex parts of life. "She'd overreact to little things," he said. "It's like stressing for no reason and it ruined the whole experience." Back at the hotel, Darcey got even more heated. At one point, she even suggested Georgi got what you came for after coming to America on the K-1 visa and getting his green card. But the conversation was only going in circles, so Darcey and Stacey made a beeline out of the room. Florian followed behind, leaving Georgi seething and all alone. When Georgi didn't chase after them, however, Darcey grew even more upset and stated that she had hit my limit. "I'm upset because after I spent this whole trip trying to tell him all I need and want is your transparency, Georgi just wants to brush me to the side and not feel like he can include me to grow our wealth," Darcey said in a confessional. "And like, hello, we're married. Shouldn't I know about that stuff because it makes you feel a little used?" she continued. "Obviously it seems a little premeditated, like he was thinking and planning it for a while." Eventually, Georgi crossed paths with Darcey, Stacey, and Florian downstairs, where tempers flared once again. After suggesting once again that Georgi got what he wanted from her, she went back to shouting at him. "You could take all my money, Georgi. I'll send you a check tomorrow," she told her husband, who then suggested she and Stacey don't have no money. "You're always broke," he said with a smirk and shrug as Darcey and Stacey chirped back at him. But he argued that they spent far too much money on shopping and clothes. Georgi was particularly fed up with Stacey, who kept injecting herself into his argument with Darcey. "I say nothing wrong to you first of all, so don't get involved in our relationship too," he shouted at Stacey, suggesting she worry about her own marriage, which also had a rocky past. Darcey then jumped back in. You don't want to say the truth anyway to anybody because you're full of secrets and you always will be, she asserted. Stacey, he wants to fool me and I'm not going to be played for a fool. Infuriated, Darcey asked the front desk if they could get 2 separate cabs to take them to the airport. This made Georgi upset, as his sister was on her way to say goodbye to all of them before they headed home. It's so childish and Stacey's just adding more fuel to the fire, Georgi said in a confessional. Darcey's always assuming the worst even if she don't know about the situation. And that makes me even more upset. Georgi tried to help Darcey with her bags, but she refused to allow him. You will not take me down, she said while wheeling her bags to the trunk of the car. I don't live my life like that. How dare you? I've got daughters. You don't act like family. I want to be far away from you. Georgi then watched as the trio pulled away in their cab. A short time later, Georgi's sister Nicola and her family arrived to send him off. After Georgi finished exchanging hugs and handshakes, Nicola asked about Darcey, Stacey, and Florian's whereabouts. They got mad, Georgi told his sister in Bulgarian. I told her I want to come to Bulgaria and travel more often since I can come back now. In a confessional, Georgi said he was embarrassed to tell his sister that Darcey stormed off and why. I don't want to worry them, he explained. Nicola was supportive of her brother, noting that if Darcey can travel alone, then so can her brother. But Georgi was more upset that his wife and sister continue to gang up on him. There needs to be compromise from both sides, not just one. You are one family, so you have to support each other, Nicola stated, but Georgi scoffed. Things are not looking good. Meanwhile, in the cab, Florian asked Darcey how she can continue living in such a roller coaster of a relationship. But she insisted she didn't want to and emphasized that trust goes a long way. I deserve better than that, Darcey asserted. I'm really disappointed because I really felt like I connected with this family and, they were loving and open to me too. And I don't know what the future's going to hold. The 90-day fiancé drama has followed Darcey Silva and Georgi Rusev home from their trip to Bulgaria. Now the conflict hits closer to home, as it has to do with the couple's finances. It's a storyline that the TLC darlings have previously explored on their many seasons within the franchise. However, Darcey revealed some specifics about their financial situation. As always, Darcey's twin sister Stacey Silva was on hand to get an earful. The duo were cast on the latest season of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? And the show is exploring their dynamics as a married couple of 2 years. It's not been great, just been really trying to tolerate each other, Darcey told Stacey during a sneak peek of next week's episode, courtesy of Us Weekly. It's not been easy. It turns out that Georgi was hesitant to pay half of their rent upon returning to the United States. And he was not responding to Darcey's messages. I was trying to communicate about it with him because now he wants half the money back for Bulgaria, she explained of their recent trip. They celebrated their anniversary with Georgi's family while there. Darcey continued, It's so not okay because I've always been there for him providing over the years. I paid the rent. I paid the bill to pay cable, electric, all that stuff, food going out, whatever, traveling. That's not okay. Just be giving and gracious about it. Stacey exploded at that point. She called her brother-in-law greedy. Further, Darcey shared that her father had to get involved to get Georgi to fork over his share. She told her sister, I had to put Daddy on a group text, just to say, Hi Georgi, it's Darcey. Can you please pay your share of the rent? It's due today. So he did. He actually sent me the money soon after that because he wasn't answering me before that. Darcey continued, It's kind of embarrassing that I have to include my dad, but I feel like that's the only thing that I could do to, help me kind of nudge him so he can just take action. Whenever I include my dad in a text message, I feel like he does it right away. He doesn't want to disappoint my dad, but he doesn't mind disappointing me. It's becoming habitual to include Mike Silva on such messages, unfortunately. At this point, she can't count on my hand how many times. Clearly it's effective. 90 Day Fiancé legends Darcey Silva and Georgi Rusev have taken their relationship to the next level. During Season 9 of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, TLC alums Darcey and Georgi invited fans to travel with them to Georgi's hometown in Bulgaria to celebrate a long-awaited homecoming to his family. Darcey first joined the 90 Day Fiancé universe in 2017 during the debut season of 90 Day Fiancé, Before the 90 Days, the same season that introduced viewers to her happily ever after, co-stars Jasmine Pineda and Gino Palazzolo. After seasons on the international dating show, Darcey and her twin sister, Stacey Silva, received their own spin-off show, aptly titled Darcey and Stacey. While her 90-day relationships with both Jessie Meester and Tom Brooks both ended before an engagement, fans were thrilled to see Darcey Star find her lasting connection with massage therapist Georgi during Darcey and Stacey Season 1. While it's safe to say the couple had their fair share of ups and downs, they found their footing on 90 Day, the last resort Season 2, choosing to stay together through it all and landing themselves a spot on 90 Day Finest, happily ever after. Scroll to find out if Darcey and Georgi are still together, how they met, and what's next for the couple. Yes, Darcey and Georgi are still together. While their trip to Bulgaria on 90 Day Fiancé, happily ever after. Season 9 has definitely put stress on their relationship. It is clear from both of their social media profiles that the married couple is still going strong. Darcey, Stacey, and Georgi are all active influencers who frequently partner with local beauty establishments, confirming to fans that they are all in the same place at the same time. As recently as September 3rd, Connecticut's CKC Salon and Keratin Bar posted, "We loved pampering our favorite twins, and at georgirusev.tv with fresh color and keratin treatments they are as gorgeous inside as they are out. We truly enjoyed our time together and can't wait to see them again soon." During an interview with Parade, Darcey and Georgi reminisced about their unorthodox meet-cute. According to Georgi, he had watched Darcey and Jessie's journey on 90 Day Fiancé, before the 90 days with his girlfriend at the time, and decided to slide into Darcey's Instagram DMs while she was dating Tom. As he put it, "All the men, they get hooked to the show because their girlfriend at the time, they're watching and they don't have a choice, you know?" They exchanged messages that walked the line between friendly and flirty until, eventually, Georgi saw that he and Darcey would both be at the Super Bowl and asked Darcey to meet in person. Darcey and Georgi got married on November 11, 2023, finding significance in 11/11, the same way that 90 Day Fiancé Season 11 stars Sarper and Shekinah Guven did for the franchise's very first betting the next year. Considering the day, Darcey told People, "We envisioned a beautiful November 11th wedding date because the number 11 is close to our hearts. It's a manifesting number, and at 11:11 on the clock, we always make a wish." She added, "It was also in honor of my brother Michael, who passed in 1998, just like our fashion brand House of 11 and our first company, 11th Entertainment. We wanted the date close to our hearts." While they have traditionally broadcast their relationship for all to see, Darcey and Georgi had a private wedding with only 15 guests in attendance. Later, she announced to her fans, "I'm thrilled to share that Georgi and I got married on our special day of November 11th. I've been on a long journey to find love, and in the end, love wins. I'm so blessed for you all to be a part of my journey in life, love, and happiness. Thank you for all the love and support. Stay tuned. Love, Darcey, hugs and kisses." Stacey Silva and Florian Sukic have joined Darcey Silva and Georgi Rusev for an epic anniversary party in Bulgaria, but Georgi has grown increasingly frustrated with his wife's antics. On the September 21 episode of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, the two couples reunited for the first time in weeks at a Bulgarian dance studio, where they prepared a special dance for Darcey and Georgi's upcoming wedding anniversary party. Darcey was excited to have her twin sister join her in Bulgaria for the big day, explaining to cameras, "My sister's never missed a big moment in my life." But Stacey was more concerned about her twins' relationship. "I want to show Darcey my love and support because I just feel like a lot of times I don't think it's fair the way Georgi treats my sister," she said in a confessional. Stacey wasted no time holding Georgi's feet to the fire after greetings were said and done. First, she pressed him about if he was enjoying their vacation, which he claimed to be enjoying. "Everything's good? Because I kind of heard there's been some ups and downs," Stacey asked, to which Georgi said, "Well, we know wherever your sister is, there's some drama." That answer did not sit well with Stacey, as she admitted that Darcey may not always be easy to live with, but she still felt worried for her sister. Georgi, however, was more concerned about what Stacey might do at the wedding. "Hopefully Stacey is on her best behavior," he said in a confessional, as Darcey insisted there would be no twin drama between her and her sister. The next day, it was time to party. Darcey even had Stacey bring all of their wedding attire, including Georgi's tuxedo and her busty wedding dress, to Bulgaria. However, Georgi was not thrilled with Darcey's outfit choice, once again. "It doesn't make me feel very comfortable," he said in a confessional. She had all this time to figure out what to wear. What is she expecting? Ultimately, Georgi opted to give up this argument instead. So the two couples then ventured to the venue, which left Darcey impressed. "Wow, your mom and dad went all out," she exclaimed as their car pulled up to the curb. Entering the party, Darcey was most concerned about having to meet the rest of Georgi's family. "That's a lot of pressure for me," she explained in a confessional, "because to feel accepted into their family is the most beautiful feeling, and I just want to make sure that everybody loves me." So after taking part in several more Bulgarian traditions, it was game time for Darcey. First, she exchanged some hugs with Georgi's parents, who were thrilled with the turnout. Darcey then made her way around the room, with a wine glass in hand, and met each and every person who attended the gathering. Meanwhile, Georgi was very affectionate toward his wife all evening long, something both Stacey and Florian were not used to seeing. "It's nice to see Darcey and Georgi let loose and have fun," Stacey said. "I feel like this is how they should be all the time," added Florian. "This was the first time I've seen Georgi giving attention to her and having fun with her," he explained, noting that both Darcey and Georgi were acting like it was the first day they met. But the longer the night went, the drunker Darcey got. Georgi admitted that Bulgarian parties usually have a lot of drinks, but suggested that Darcey enjoyed his family's wine a little bit too much. Even Stacey and Florian noticed that Darcey was getting tipsy. But Darcey did not seem to care, stating, "Hey, I'd rather be me," while slurring her words. Eventually, the party came to an end. Stacey helped carry the train of Darcey's dress as her sister stumbled across the room, gave Georgi's parents a hug goodbye and headed out the door. "I feel blessed that everybody could gather," Darcey said in a confessional. "It's a memory to cherish for a lifetime," added Georgi. "I love these moments when you get together with the family. They're very meaningful and recharging. That's what I was missing for the last 13 years. But things quickly spiraled once the two couples hopped in their car to go home. Darcey began feeling unwell and soon found herself vomiting out the car door. "I've never seen you throw up like this before," Stacey said while holding her sister's hair. Meanwhile, Georgi cracked some jokes at his wife's expense. Both Darcey and Stacey asked Georgi to stop, but he simply laughed off the request. In a confessional, Stacey expressed her displeasure with Georgi's response, suggesting he should have been more focused on caring for his wife. "He should be there supporting her, loving her, not making jabs," she explained. She then turned to Florian and said, "You would never let me do that. I mean, you would at least hold my hair." Still, Georgi continued to joke around, even as they pulled away from the venue. "Somebody want to poison the queen? Where's the rat?" he quipped, to which Darcey replied, "You're the rat. You tried to poison me." Darcey continued heaving in the car, which left Georgi grossed out. "Ew," he whined as his wife gagged before she mustered enough energy to tell him, "Shut the F up."